Danger Dolan. From angels you would expect to see on an acid trip to cock lizard hybrids that turn you to stone, we count the 12 craziest creatures mentioned in the Bible.
Number 12.
The second beast of Revelation. So God decides to end everything and get rid of all those nasty sinners and give them to his grumpy ex Satan to play with. And he starts this by summoning the beast, or rather two of them, since there's actually more than one beast. The second beast is just your average animal with two horns that rises from the earth. Seems peaceful enough, but then he does something a little bit odd. He speaks like a dragon. I'm not really sure what that means, but maybe it's the same noises someone makes when eating a ghost chili. Or maybe it's exactly like Smaug the Dragon and Peter Jackson is actually a prophet sent to Earth by God. Either way, this guy is weird, but not nearly as weird as the first beast. But we'll get to that guy later.
Number 11.
The Giant. Most of you have probably heard the story of David and the Goliath, if nothing else because it featured on that one episode of The Simpsons. Goliath is a Philistine giant, which basically means a person that worships Satan that happens to be quite a bit taller than your average dude. Although it doesn't seem like he's quite as big as Homer is in the episode, but he's at the very least around 12 feet tall, which is big, especially for those days when everyone was short as leprechauns that didn't eat their vegetables.
Number 10.
Leviathan. This guy is basically an underwater dragon. Well, not basically, that's exactly what it is. But it gets weirder than that, my friends. His back has rows of shields strapped tightly together. His snorting throws out flashes of light, and his eyes are like rays of dawn. He breathes fire, snorts out puffs of smoke, and he's basically invulnerable to any weapon people had back in the days before technology was cool. The Leviathan was mentioned in the book of Job, where God let Satan be a jerk to Job, his most loyal follower for some reason that I don't know. Probably because omnipotence gets boring every now and then.
Number 9.
Unicorn. Yep, unicorn. You heard me right. There's a goddamn unicorn mentioned in the Bible. Or maybe not the Bible you get in the Drawn Hotel, but it's still said very clearly in the King James Bible, back when the Bible was way cooler. Because unicorns are rad if you ignore that one TV show. Of course they retcon this later on to mean ox, but fuck that noise. I want the version where there's a magical horse with a conical shell super glued to its forehead, because that's way cooler. Some places on the internet seem to say that unicorn meant beast of burden, but I looked up the etymology of this motherfucker and there's no mention of ox in there. Oxen don't have one horn, guys. I can read the internet. Uni means one, and corn is horn. You can't back out of this.
Number 8.
Satyrs. You know that goat human thing from the Disney animated Hercules? The one about Greek mythology? Well, it's known as a satyr, and the Bible also mentions it. The book of Isaiah says that it's going to be hanging out with its brother owl and some wild beasts while we all burn in hell. Oh, and did I mention it's also dancing when this happens? Yeah, this satyr guy is a total jerk. But I guess that's why people like to draw Satan as a satyr, even though the Bible actually says he looks like a really pretty man who seduces you into the dark side of the Force or whatever. Oh, and actually satyr has other friends, dragons, which brings me to my next point.
Number 7.
Dragon. Man, those people back in those days loved their fire-breathing lizards. Of course, the Bible mentioned in Revelation is a bit different, a lot weirder than your stereotypical dragon, which is totally bad. You shouldn't adhere to stereotypes. So what if this particular guy has 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns? That doesn't mean he's not a dragon, it just means he's special. But then again, at least he still has your good old-fashioned red skin. We won't be doing with those damn yellow skin lizards. This Liz was a total badass as well. He took on Michael and his pals and totally kicked their butts. Then they got all pouty and called him Satan, which isn't very nice. You don't make friends by calling them the deceiver.
Number 6.
Cockatrice. What happens when you want to make a dragon weirder? You combine it with a cock. No, not that one, you dirty-minded Philistine. Jesus! Like your head is perpetually stuck in a dark, moist storage that has profane graffiti all over its walls. Moist. Well, back on track, the cock dragon hybrid has a rooster head and body with a lizard backside. It can also turn you into stone if it looks at you. So just remember that old biblical tale, bring a mirror with you for protection. This guy is basically the same thing as your average basilisk, which you've probably heard of at some point. In fact, sometimes the names are interchangeable, but in other cases the basilisk is the same thing but has no wings and actually is given birth by a cockatrice.
Number 5.
Locusts of Abaddon. Locusts aren't that weird, right? They're just grasshoppers that fuck up Egypt occasionally, aren't they? Well, these guys are special locusts. The ones that come with the apocalypse, and I assure you they are anything but glorified crickets. The Locusts of Abaddon actually look like dudes that have women's hair. They also have nifty chest plates and they have lion's teeth and scorpion tails. So yeah, not sure why they're called locusts. Sounds more like mini chimera to me, but hey, each to their own.
Number 4.
Seraph. No, not the little things that are sometimes on letters. These guys are angels with wings and everything. Although they have 6 of the wings, constantly shout holy, 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 like a malicious housewife with a pin and condom. Turns out their wings are for covering their own bodies because they are so incredibly hot, in the literal sense. If you see their body, you will be purified by an all-consuming flame. Don't really think that flame purifies as much as it barbecues. But Dolan, you interject, isn't fire the power of Satan? To which I replied, fuck if I know, mate. Do I sound like a priest to you? A righteous man with only God's will in his mind? No, dear child. I am but a man who likes to share weird shit with you on the internets.
Number 3.
The first beast of Revelation. Finally we arrive where number 12 left off, the first beast of Revelation. This bugger was in some serious contention with being the first on my list. He came out of the sea, he has 7 heads, like his buddy the dragon is like a leopard but has the feet of a bear, the mouth of a lion, and one of the heads has a mortal wound, but the wound is healed as an attempt to make people think he's one of God's buddies. Oh yeah, it's also really horny. So horny in fact that it has 10 horns, and each of these horns has a crown on it, because who gives a toss about austerity when the world just started to end.
Number 2.
Cherub. Everyone knows what cherubs are. They're the little baby angels that flutter about in Renaissance paintings. But is that what the Bible describes them as? As it turns out, no, not even slightly. The cherub has 4 heads, 4 wings with straight feet with the soles, the shoe kind, on a calf's foot. Each of the 4 heads are of a different animal. The front is the face of a man, the left is the face of an ox, the right is the face of a lion, and the back is the face of an eagle. And this guy appears in a vision from Ezekiel, a prophet. But really, doesn't it sound more like he found a poppy plantation and just went nuts?
Number 1.
Ophanim. Speaking of Ezekiel, there's another angel that he hallucinated, and this one is genuinely and completely weird in every sense of the word. They carry the throne of God, because apparently a spiritual being needs a goddamn chair, and are made up of 4-spoke chariot wheels with eyes along the edge of the wheel. It's an angel that has a bunch of wheels with eyes on them. Also sometimes they're described as being on fire for some reason. I don't really know. All I know is that I will have what Ezekiel's having. That's it for this countdown. And have a good one!